start this talk with a beautiful song from Dale, with the beautiful reading and prayer from Michael. Oh, so happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. I'm honored to be here at Joyful Gathering in Collingswood, New Jersey. I, as you, also love being in this energy at this center. This love energy, the love train that Reverend Margaret calls it. I call it a love fest. All the same thing. It's just such a pleasure and a privilege to be here. So I'm here this morning to share a way to live life. Now we know there's many, many, many ways to live life, but I'm here to share a few ways that maybe you haven't thought of yet, or maybe you've heard them, but you haven't lived them this way. So here's a few things that I'm going to remind you. We are filled with an overflowing abundance of love. And I know we were just basking in love with the music and the reading. This love never falters and it never dries up. This love has no limit. And it's always there for us to receive and then transfer out into the world. Spirit has made it easy for us to connect to divine love by placing love right here at the core of our center. As we choose Spirit within to guide us to living a life based on love, we can be those unique expressions of a loving God. So these are all true statements, maybe statements you've heard before, but this is a way that we can live our lives every single moment. The entire nature of the divine Spirit is forever giving itself to its creation. So we are the creation, and the nature of divine Spirit is forever giving to us love, love, more love, peace, trust, prosperity, harmony. Now, that last statement that I read, the entire nature of the divine Spirit is forever giving itself to its creation, is from the New Thought Dictionary by Dr. Ernest Holmes. And in his book, The I Am Meditations by Jacob Glass, he has these beautiful affirmative prayers that he says if you read one of these each morning, it sets the tone for the day. So since we're here in the morning, I wanted to read part of one of the prayers that he has in his book. So before I read it, I just want to remind you, I'll be using the word I, because that is how he writes them, as I. So your ears will be hearing the I. And I'm hoping as you hear these words that it evokes the feeling of love and peace and harmony. So before I read this short prayer, I don't know if you might, it's up to you if you might want to touch your heart to just evoke that feeling. And if not, that's fine as well. So here is part of a short prayer from the I Am Meditations. I am love. And I see love all around me as I walk the path of grace and gently unfolding good. I am living by grace, and I am sourced by love. I look through eyes of love at a world of effortless grace. I am a child of the God of love. I create a wonderful life for myself through this divine love within me. God is with me now. I am not alone nor separate. There is a divine plan for my life, which is now unfolding. I greet this day with peace, joy, and divine love. So allow these statements of truth to soak into your being. The words and the feeling of love and peace and joy. This is your true nature. So our true inner essence is love, divine love, the truest love of all. It is pure, it is unconditional. This love is pure freedom. You can create from this love. Our inner essence of love, it's non-judgmental, and this love is full of grace. And this is the end of the prayer. And let me move forward and continue this beautiful message. We don't have to do anything to earn this love. And we can't escape from it. Because this love is in us and through us and as us and is us. The part that we are doing is acknowledge it, accept it, and act from our own core base of love. This love is our divine creator, and it's from our divine creator. It's unconditional, it's unwavering, it's judgment-free, and it's full of grace. It gives us the freedom to be who we were meant to be. And I'd like to offer 3 ways we can live our lives embracing this love. Now, there are so many ways we can live our life. There's more, of course, than 3. But I want to focus on 3 that have been speaking to me lately. The first one is love yourself. It's pure, it's simple, and in loving yourself, you are loving the Creator. You're loving the power that has created us. We are each a unique individual of love. Think about it. Think about your fingerprints. No one else has your fingerprints. That's how unique you are. We can use our fingerprint to open our phones and many, many other things we can unlock because it's so unique. And our eyes, do you know how unique our eyes are? I didn't realize this. I was checking information. This is a scientific fact that no one else has our eyes. Our irises, the shape and the eye pattern is unique to each one of us. The iris contains approximately 250 different characteristics that determine a person's identity, which is 5 times more than a fingerprint. So you, each one of us, have an encoded blueprint with an unrepeatable code. In our own uniqueness, we can be who we are to be, and we can do what it is we are meant to do. We are to love and live who we are as God created us. So that means that if we have our own unique encoding, everyone else has their own unique encoding, and they can be who they're meant to be. So we don't have to try to be anyone else. And I give a sigh of relief when I hear that, because I don't know about you, I'm sure none of you do this, but there's times when I compare myself to other people, or I want to be like them. Why can't I sing as well as my friend Brenda? Or why can't I have the skill set of somebody else? Or why can't I be this? Or why can't I be that? So the good thing is, I have that unique encoded pattern that God placed right inside as I was created. And one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves is to love ourselves exactly as we are, just as we were created. I'm sure you've heard this saying, you do you, I'll do me. That's really what I thought of. Okay, you do whatever you have to do, I'll do whatever I have to do, what I'm meant to be, who I'm meant to be. And to me, the freeing thing of that is, I don't have to worry about anyone else. I can focus on me. I can love me how I am. There's like no judgment there with others. And also, I don't have to take on their judgment of me either. It's like, okay, you do you, I'll do me. So love yourself exactly how you are, because you were created and are created as a unique individual. The second thing, that way we can live our life in our love essence, is to give ourselves grace. Give yourself grace. Be easy on yourself. Be gentle on yourself. And this is the grace that God shines upon us every single moment. Earlier when I said our inner essence of love is non-judgmental, it's true. We don't get less love one day because we said something or acted a certain way, and then get more love the next day because we were fabulous. We get the same love. It's unconditional, it's non-judgmental. And love yourself even at times when you may lose your cool. I've heard that saying, I lost my stuff. I went off on someone. Well, I just want to share with you how that happened to me the other day. And I was also, when this was happening, I was thinking, I could never be on a reality show. Having cameras follow me around, watching everything I say or do, that would not play out well for me. It might be good for ratings, like did you see that woman the other day? She's even a Reverend. She lost her stuff, kind of thing. But the other day, I was working on the computer, and it was on something important, and the message came up that I wasn't connected to the server or the internet. And I was trying to be calm, and I'm like, okay. And it said that it could be restarted. So I tried that, and it didn't work. So so it said the computer will shut off in 5 minutes, and it will be restarted. So that was in the morning, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna let it do its thing. I'm gonna go out, do my errands, walk the dogs, whatever I needed to do. I'll come back in the afternoon. Okay. So then I came back in the afternoon to work on my important thing that I was stressed about, that wasn't getting done in the morning, and I still wasn't connected to the internet. And I was just like that heavy breathing, and oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? There was ranting, there was raving. My husband was sitting in the corner in a chair reading his book. Smart man, he didn't say a word. He just kind of looked at me, and I think if he could have melted himself like down into the basement, he would have done that. He's just looking. But I'll tell you what I did. I'm not proud of this, but I went over and I slammed the door as hard as I could. It actually felt good. It felt good. But I scared the dog. My husband decided to go downstairs because he wasn't going to be having any of that. But now this could go two different ways. I could be how I normally am, like, what's wrong with you? You're like a child, you're slamming the door, relax, blah, blah, blah. All these self-doubting, self-incriminating thoughts. Or I've been bringing into my practice grace. So I could just reconnect. I didn't care about the internet at this point or the server. I want to reconnect to my inner love. That's what I had separated from. Reconnected, got in peace, relaxed, apologized to my husband, and I told the dog I was fine, it's okay, because he came over and wanted to know what was going on after the dog slamming. But what I want to say is, giving myself grace and not shaming myself, it just felt so good and so freeing. That's not a practice that I have done very often with myself. But I know that if I start that self-incriminating talk, that could go on and on and on. And then where does that get me? Nowhere. You know, I'm out of self-love. So I decided, you know, God gives grace. I'm going to give myself grace. This is the grace of God that the divine creator bestows upon us all the time. And let me tell you how good it felt. It just was so freeing. And then I could go on. And I finally was connected to the internet so I could work on what I needed to work on. And I felt good about myself when I was ready. I felt the love, so I was ready. And I wasn't quite sure what grace is. I hear that word a lot. So I went to the Science of Mind book by Dr. Ernest Holmes, went under the glossary, and under grace, this is what grace is. The givingness of spirit to its creation. It is the acceptance of life. We are saved by grace to the extent that we believe in it, accept it, and seek to embody the law of good. For the law of good is ever a law of liberty and not of limitation. The end of that. So the next time we think someone or someone else or even ourselves have lost their stuff, no. They've just separated from that connection up to the good stuff, to the grace. They have just separated from the essence of where all grace and love lives. So extend grace to yourself and others as God would and does. It's a wonderful way to accept and love yourself. And here's an affirmation that helps me during these challenging times. The limitless abundance of the universe is flowing now, and I am an open vessel, available vessel, ready to be filled. So how about if I break this affirmation into segments and you can repeat after me, because it sure does feel good to hear this. The limitless abundance of the universe, is flowing now, and I am an open vessel. Ready to be filled. Okay, so we are to love all parts of ourselves and extend grace to ourselves. And when we extend grace to ourselves and feel the freedom in it, it becomes something that we want to extend to other people. There might be times when you think you've been wronged by someone. Extend grace to that person. We don't know exactly what they're going through. Remember how freeing it felt to extend grace to yourself. It feels the same way to extend it to someone else. And you can actually feel it in your heart. And after all, who are we to know what is best for someone else? They have their own uniqueness and their own coding. And remember, they're doing them, and we're doing us. So no judgment from us, but total grace. And here's a third way to connect to our inner essence. And are you ready to have some fun? Yeah. Good. The third way is my favorite way. It's to celebrate you. This is so fun. So, and just like all the fun we've been having before we started this talk. So celebrating yourself is love in action. And remember, we are the vessels. God's expressing through us. So as we're celebrating us, we're celebrating the divine. So on my birthday, every year when it's my birthday, I wake up happy, I smile all day long, I plan to be with people I care about. I'm so exuberant that day. I could even be obnoxious at times. I'm just inside like, it's my birthday, yay! I am kind and joyful to everyone. And so I started to think, what would it be like to pretend it's your birthday? Now we know Dale has her birthday this month. What would it be like for us to pretend it's our birthday any day we want? Just pretend, celebrate yourself. You pick any day you want. In fact, you don't even have to just pick one day. You can pick any single day that you want. There's no limit. Who said we can't have more than one birthday? We just don't add the years onto it, of course. But treat yourself like it's your birthday. Celebrate yourself. And tell your friends to do the same thing. Pick another birthday. Why not pick a day where we celebrate ourselves, we smile, we're in joy, we celebrate each other? Because you know, your energy, your inward energy, as we know, it moves out. People can sense your energy. Being in a loving, happy energy, it spreads out. So as you're celebrating yourself, you're happy who you are, you're giving yourself grace. We say things and do things that maybe we wouldn't do again if we had the same situation. Give yourself grace, celebrate yourself. Imagine how uplifting and up-leveling it can be to those around you. Can you imagine how much fun it would be if the whole group of people decided on different days, today's going to be my birthday, tomorrow's going to be your birthday, next week's going to be her birthday, and we just celebrate it. I just think that's a wonderful idea to ponder. What a joyful idea. So we celebrate ourselves each and every way and all the time. And I just think of the energy that would invoke to all of us, and just that love that it would invoke all throughout. Besides the three ways of connecting to our true inner essence of love that's always there, just remind you, loving ourselves, giving ourselves grace, and celebrating ourselves, there's another component I want to mention. The ease of connecting and being in alignment to your inner love essence. I feel like the Creator made it so easy. Created us, but didn't leave us totally alone. That has implanted the same essence, the same joy and peace and love that it is inside of us. And for us to always have it there, I just think it's a miracle, and it's just so easy. It's not like we have to go outside of ourselves to search for it. No, it's right there. It's always there. In fact, I was going to call this talk, It's So Easy. It's just so easy to. Now, the tricky part can be, I'm not saying it's always, but the tricky part can be that we can cover it up with stuff. I don't know if you've ever done this. You can just cover it up with stuff that's not true about ourselves. Things that we think, or things that we judge, how we judge ourselves. But Spirit has made it so easy for us to connect divine love by placing it right inside of us. And think about that Staples button, that old advertisement when they slapped the button and said, that's easy. It really, truly is. So Eric Butterworth writes in his book, Spiritual Economics, that God will make you prosperous and successful in all your ways if you do not make it hard for God. All that's required is that you keep yourself centered in the creative flow. Keep in tune through positive thoughts. Keep responsive by your faith. And as Thoreau would say, keep moving in the direction of your dreams. We are not just acted upon by God, but we are the activity of God expressing as us. So remember, you don't have to search, and I thank God for that. I'd probably lose it, whatever it was, so it's right there. We don't need to look for the truth of who we are. It is implanted in every part of us and in each one. Now, when we say or act as if life is hard, like, why do we say that? Why do we say, and why do we make things hard? I have to tell you this funny little story. We're going to be grandparents for the first time in a couple months, and our son was trying to find out from the grandparents who would be willing to babysit. So he asked me, of course, asked his in-laws, of course they both said, and my husband wasn't there when he asked, so I said, oh, I'll ask Dad. So I asked my husband, now when we had our children, as soon as the babies, the infants went, I got handed the baby. The baby went you. He was like unsure of himself. He wasn't. So anyway, I asked, I said, John, would you like to babysit, by yourself? Sure, I'll babysit. I was really taken back. I'm like, by yourself? He said, yeah. He goes, how hard can it be? You feed them and you change them. I'm like, that is somebody saying it's so easy, right? He's making it, it's not hard. Just do this and just do this. So why do we think that life is so hard? When actually it isn't true, because we're always loved, supported at all times. And what are we going to do when life doesn't go our way? Because we have certain preferences, like we would like things to go this way, or we would like things to go that way. Or what are we going to do when we cover up our inner truth or mentally separate from it? There are times that might happen as well. We do have a great spiritual toolbox from coming here on Sundays at Joyful Gathering, from reading inspirational readings. Here's the main thing that I take away from the readings and what I hear. Go within. Just go within. Connect with your inner essence of love. Because God is always conspiring for our highest good. There's nothing more real than the inner space within each of us that never changes. We can turn from within for answers. We can grow from within to without. It's the truth. There's nothing missing from us. We are divine, perfect beings. So I just want to leave you with a couple questions to ponder. Who would you be living in your true love essence, knowing you could never fail? Who would you be? What could we create in our life? What would it be like to always align with this power of love, grace, trust, and freedom? And what can you create in your life because you have everything you need? And so it is.